Hey guys, welcome to page number 2 with our scrap series, and this one's fairly fast and fairly easy. So I'm just showing you all the things that I want to use. I want to use some washi, some border punch photo corners, and this stitch label die from memory box. And I use that to create the stitch design from these papers. I've pulled out some papers that have a lot of words to it, and then I've cut them. Some are 3x4, some a little bit smaller, so I can overlap them. And then I have this quite orange strip, and I'm actually going to add that leaf border, I should say, onto the edge. I decided initially I wanted to use kind of a scallop because there was a lot of straight edges with the rectangles, but then I remembered that the family one of the pattern papers that I cut into a 3x4 have a wreath that had some leaves, and that's going to go on the left side. And so I decided to go with my leaf border punch just to kind of repeat that design onto the right, so it will have some kind of balance to my page. And then here is some strip of paper, dotted paper, that I'm going to be adhering onto that border, and that's going to go on to the left. But before I trim that, of course I'm going to trim it a little bit smaller than my white cardstock base so that you can see the white edges. But before I trim the other side of it, where you can see the barcode, I'm going to lay all of my items onto it first, like my papers, and to make sure that I know where to cut it perfectly so that they all kind of butt up together, or at least have just a little bit of gap to them. So now that that's done, now I can adhere this strip onto the left side, trying to center that there and making sure that I have enough spacing on the top and the bottom so you can see the white cardstock that's behind it, or white paper I should say, because it's not cardstock, it's just the back side of a pattern paper that I don't care for so much. And that's what I use for white cardstock these days, and it helps me to use up my stash, and also to saves me some money. And then I'm just kind of moving things around. The good thing about the adhesive that I use is it is permanent, but it doesn't stick right away, so you can move things around if you need to, but I think it's just like a few minutes after you had adhered it. If you try to pull it out the day after, then of course you're going to have some problems. So I need to trim that down so I'll have some space, even space on the edges or in between those papers and the photo. And I wanted to kind of emphasize that a little bit more with some photo corners. This is really old, fairly old photo corners from Canson. It has that gold um, design or color to it. And I wanted to use the gold because I had found the ampersand chipboard that I'm going to be using here, and that's going to go on the top of my page. And so I wanted to again connect some of the colors and designs that I've done on one side over to another side so that my page would look balanced. So I decided to do the top and the bottom, uh, build the top and the bottom design first because I wanted to have even gaps on the top and the bottom. But when I had cut my center, or when I was starting to work on the center blocks, it was just, yeah, there was no gap at all. And so I just decided that, yeah, it would not have any gap, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to tuck in that photo, and then I'm going to work onto my title. So the title is You and Me Forever, and it's already part of that paper. And I just felt like the top and the bottom was a little bit blank, so I decided to add some washi tape on top and the bottom of it just to add a little bit of a design. And that's going to go onto that maroon cardstock that has the stitch edge to it as well, and then it's going to go, I'm going to add it with some foam adhesive. Okay, so now I'm going to work on that top grid that is grid paper, and I'm going to adhere the word end. And there's really no meaning to the end, it's just that it was kind of a nice thing to add. And like I said, I am working with my scraps, and that was in my scrap bin, so I figured why not. And then the word best ever was cut using a Simon Says stamp die cut set. It actually spells best day ever, but I just took out the day part. And I used some scraps, again, scraps of pattern paper to cut that out so I'll have a little bit of a design. And that's it. Now it's looking a little bit, it's all good. I have my journaling that I have pre-typed, but it was just kind of missing something. So I went and grabbed my Nouveau Crystal drops in white, and I'm just kind of adding some white all around, kind of sprinkling it around that pattern paper with all the dots. And then I'm also going to adhere some onto the title block and also that family block. Now I just gotta let you know that if you look at the close-ups afterwards, you will notice that some of the dots have red in them. I don't know if you will see them in this one, maybe on the next slide, but it was because I thought that they were dry, but it wasn't dry, so I got some red on it from a piece of cardstock. So there you have it, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.